Hello, YouTube. This is entering the great state of New Hampshire where you can live free or die. And most people seem to want to simply live. Coming up is a little place I told you about in the earlier video. Oh, cannonball. That's a whole pyramid of cannonballs. There's actually two of them. I turned around a little quickly. The 10 doesn't like to sit idle very long or slow. This is heading north, and just another sweet and lovely part of that ride. My speakerage is popping. I found out something as far as my not monetizing my channel. Unfortunately, even if you use CDs or music you have purchased, YouTube still has the right to commercialize your channel because they own your ass, apparently. And your channel does not necessarily belong to you in any way. So that was a bit disheartening. I'm still not going to monetize the channel because I do despise the commercials that you have to sit through 10 seconds of and then push the little button that skips it. Anyhow, just one of the things we must deal with in this world, unfortunately. The electric smoothness of my bike is something I cherish very much. When the wind noise cuts out and it's just cruising at this RPM, it just goes silent and it's lovely. I'm getting more and more accustomed to a quiet bike. This one here has got a pretty nice, kind of like a big dirt bike sound when you get after it a little bit, like $6,000 or so. But it's still quiet compared to other bikes I've owned, like that Speed Triple had a off-road pipe, and they really technically weren't even supposed to be used on the road. It was stamped right in the exhaust where it said not for road use. And this is the beginning of 26 right here. Excuse me. This is getting off of 26 onto 16. This is the beginning of the 13-mile woods. This is where the slow-flowing river/lake area is. And it must be all state land because there's no houses through it. Some sort of a wildlife maybe preserve or something. For the most part, the water is on the left-hand side of the road, but down further it does cross over both sides of the road. I don't see how guys ride without helmets unless they do like 40 miles an hour and under everywhere they go, because I've tried riding with a dirt bike helmet on with goggles, and it takes my breath away in a hurry. So hats off to you guys that do that. You might have to tell me how you do it. I like to cruise. Like at $4,000, you know, you're doing 60. And that's pretty much the speed I like to cruise at, because you're usually safe if you cross by any coppers' paths. And that way, if it gets away from you a little bit, you might be doing 65 or so. and then you can always ease it back off and slow back down to the 60, and that's a pretty good time speed as far as getting to where you want to go. 150 helps, but that's usually not good to be crossing Cops Pass at that speed. This is a very pretty area through here. There's some pretty decent little hills and corners. Very nice roads though. And had I gone straight, that's one of the ways, if you stay right on 26, you can go right into Maine, I believe it is. I saw some sort of a giant bird, and I thought I saw a moose too, but the moose either took off or it wasn't a moose at all. I saw like just the top of his head and antlers sticking out of the water, and then by the time I turned around at the end of this video, it was gone, or like I said, I was dreaming. Tomorrow I believe I'm going to go to Ronnie's dealership down in southern Vermont and check out some bikes that they have. They've got the 1300 Deluxe in red, as well as a 13 model SV650. It's supposed to be discounted like $5,000. Not discounted $5,000, but to $5,000. One of those perfect days. I actually just realized it was like next week is going to be the beginning of October, because on this ride you can start to see a tree or two change here and there, and I thought maybe it was kind of early, but now I realize it's right on time. And that's another little disheartening fact of living here in Vermont, is these seasons do have a shelf life of pretty dang short. But that's why you appreciate them, I think. Although it would be wonderful to be able to ride whenever you wanted year round. Although a couple years ago, more than that, quite a few years ago, on the 1st and the 3rd of January, I was able to take a nice, like, 100 or so mile ride. I don't know why my mic's giving me troubles, but it seems to be. So those days are cool too, when you get to go for those little unexpected rides in the middle of winter. This bike, same with the Z1000, can give me 60 miles to the gallon when I ride it like this, and that's with the occasional pass here and there. But the way the engine works is you've got 4 injectors when you're getting after it, and when you see the little economy wheels come on the bottom left corner by the speedo gauge, those wheels mean that you're only working 2 injectors instead of all 4, and it really makes a big difference, because I think the best that I've seen is like 38-42 for miles per gallon, and that's for pretty much either one of the bikes. But if you baby it, they can do quite a bit better than that. And that's really surprising considering the types of bikes they are. Because you still got plenty of oomph, it seems to me. That's the nice thing with these bikes, is even though a leader bike can redline at 14.5, your, between 9 and 11,000 is really your peak horsepower. So putting it past that at all really, is kind of pointless. Unless you're doing a top speed run, then, carry the speed for however long you can. But they are amazing machines. That's the only trouble, though, is to use these machines, you're pretty much going to be breaking the law in, first gear, really, but in third gear, you're doing 130 plus, if you're carrying that red line limit. So, it's quite ridiculous what they're capable of. Ridiculous in an awesome way, but still. That's why I think the cruiser market is looking kind of appealing to me, because then you can, like on that Deluxe 1300, you can cruise and listen to tunes. That would be a nice change. Man, I do not get this crackling. Maybe it's got something to do with like the radio waves outside, because I'm wireless right now or something. Bizarre. The tires are holding up very well on the ZX10. They're 2,700 miles and still got pretty good. I definitely should be able to get another 1,000 out of them, so that's pretty phenomenal. They're BT16s. Battle axes. This is me just showing the views of the water. I should have tilted the camera and just ridden sideways, but enjoy riding, YouTube, or whatever it is you do on this earth. Boating's another thing I'd like to get into as well. Get a big old cabin cruiser and spend the weekend somewheres. I think that would be pretty amazing. That's a whole different lifestyle. Get nautical.
I saw a moose head in the water.
This is where I dreamt I saw a moose. I could have seen it. It did look pretty apparent that that's what it was, but like I said, by the time I got back, it was not there. Unless he went under because he didn't want to be oogled by me. No free face shots for that moosey. He's like, YouTube, you got to pay.
Nope, I was dreaming.
Paying for FaceTime.
Some perfect area for a moose, though, a lot of wetland.
There we go. End of the ride. Enjoy your life.